everybody, it's Walnut Box here. Last time we worked on that, looked at that super smelter behind us, and we built it up on the server. The one below us too, but in 1.16 our zero-tech farms are going to break, so we need a way to get some fuel. Kelp blocks are not a horrible fuel source, but they are, you have to craft them, so I thought maybe we'd start there. And this is my little kelp farm. It's not very large. It uses a slime block flying machine to cut the kelp down. It's 25 blocks tall from this leaf block to the very top glass is 25 blocks tall, because kelp can only grow to an age of 25, meaning that if this one down here starts out at 1, if one of these starts out at age 1, which you can see in the F3 screen over there to the right, it says age 15. So this one will only grow 10 more. So, but it can grow up to age 25. So that's why we have 25 blocks inside of here. This flowing water across the top, it can be a little tricky to get it to work right, but there it went. It's going to mow down all of the kelp, and you can see it floating to the top. I'll run up to the top here. It'll flow out, hit the glass panes, and drop straight into those hoppers down there. We'll watch it come through. Make sure I don't pick any of it up, I guess. There she goes, flows out, goes down, falls right into those. There's some more coming. We'll follow it down, and it will always fall in these hoppers because it's aligned against those panes. You don't need to make this out of glass. I built it out of glass so you can see into it. We do need some non-sticky blocks right here to keep us from sticking to our slime block flying machine. You'll need a couple observers, some kelp to get it started, some immovable blocks like these furnaces. Oh, there it goes again. And then you'll need a timing unit. This is just one example of it. It runs off of random tick speed. Every time this sapling tries to grow, this observer sees it and sends a signal out to these trapdoors. Now that's really quick. You can add an etho hopper clock and a pulse extender and all sorts of nifty stuff to get it to grow as high as you can. But to build this, you're going to need some building blocks and something to put your redstone on, some slime blocks, glass if you want to use glass. You can put this underground, in the ground, somewhere around. You just dig a big hole. Some leaves, some stairs, immovable objects, a chest, some hoppers. You're going to need a bunch of water. If you're going to use the random tick, you need a sapling and some dirt, and then some blocks to surround it. You're going to need 2 sticky pistons, some redstone dust, 2 observers. So to build this, we'll build up some of this together, and then I'll show you guys how to fill in the top. Okay, I'm going to grab this as my temporary block. We'll maybe do an etho hopper clock over here, but anyway, this can be as long as you want it this way. but it can really only be, these 5 blocks deep, because we're limited on the amount that we can use with slime blocks here. I'm sure that there are honey configurations that we could use. We could put one of these over here, double it up, bring it out, and then cut them both down at the same time. We would have to do something there with the collection system. So this one's the one that I found was pretty easy. So I made a platform that is 6 by, I believe it's 8. And we can put it right on top of the sandstone even. We don't even need to do that. Build if we don't want, because we can plant kelp on any block. But just so we can look at it and see how things are going. I guess you don't need this block right here if you're cutting down on resources. Don't need that corner leaf there, or this corner leaf here. It's you can skimp where you need to. So that makes our platform 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, you don't need this one. All right. And then we come up a block here, and we need some non-sticky stuff. Leaves don't stick to slime blocks, neither do honey blocks, neither do furnaces and droppers and obsidian. And so this shape right here keeps the water in. That's why we come out 1 extra block back here. So, okay. So we'll come out 1 here. And then we'll come past it. I believe it's just 1 block, because this one's not needed. Yes, 1 block. And then we just go to the front, out here. And then we'll get some glass, just so we can see how things are going inside of here, right? Okay. Then what we'll do is we'll put us a row of leaves across the face here so that nothing sticks to them, right? Then we'll need a place for the machine to park itself. See how it parks over here? The slime blocks are tucked away in the wall here so that things can grow up past them. And then you will need a block here at the end that won't stick to any of this. You can use a glass pane, you can use glass, you can use sea lanterns, you can use all sorts of different numbers of blocks there, but shoot, you can use dirt if you want. Okay, then what we'll need to do, I always put my stopper blocks in too, that way I don't forget them. And in this case, I'm using a furnace. That way the flying machine can't go any further. Okay. right? Now if you want, we can build our flying machine. So we'll want that, whichever block we decide it's going to go over here, and slide along these edges. And then we'll go 7 blocks there. Okay. Then we're going to put a sticky piston there and an observer looking down. See? So what that does is that observer right here powers this piston right here through the block. So then what we do is we put a slime block here. We'll need a sticky piston looking into that block so it pulls it along. And then we need another observer. Not like that, but facing down. Okay, sometimes when you break observers above here, it breaks them. So, or it makes the flying machine quit. So if I update the pistons, you see it flies back and forth. Right? Okay. So let's grab our fence gate that we're going to use to control these. And then we'll let this fly over here, and then it'll stop right where we want it. Now we want to update the correct observers. If we update this one over here, it doesn't do anything. Same way over there. So all we have to do is open that, and it'll head back over where it needs to be. Alright. Now we need to lay a bit of leafage down these edges. And this is the parking spots for our machine. Now you'll see I came in the one from here actually needs to be right here. There we go. But we leave this space open so that water can flow down there. So I made a mistake here, put these leaves in the wrong spot. So this is bigger than 6, it's 7, right? So 7 by 8. Now, when we put our leaves up here, or our non-sticky block, whatever block you use, and we use glazed terracotta up here if we want. So, right? And then if we're going to use our glass, then we start stacking our glass up. Okay? I'll come back in when I got another tower built, okay? Okay, well we got us a tower now. Now we're 25 blocks from here to here, the top of this slab floor. Alright, so now what we'll do is we'll need this, our stairs. We're going to need a whole boatload of water and some temporary blocks and something to build a ring around the outside. So we're going to put down our stairs over here, and then we're going to waterlog those, and they're going to make these water source back here that flows forward across the top. Okay. So you come out one past, right there. If you want to, you can put since you're up here, you put your glass panes in here. There we go. And we're done with those. See how it just leaves that nice little half block hole in there? Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to put down a temporary block on this level right here. These will all come out. Sometimes if I have enough of it, I'll use ice. That way when I break it, it makes the water source block right there, but we don't have to do that today. Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to want to fill in these corners. If we don't, we'll have water pouring out down here over our redstone, and that would suck. Okay, so we waterlog this stair, and this stair, and this stair, then this stair, and then unfortunately you got to do that one. All right, so it slides all the way across to right there. Very nice, right? We're done with the water, contrary to popular belief. So as we break out our temporary blocks here, the water will flow down and create a curtain. So there we go. Okay, and this is flowing water. And the only way to get things to float, we have to have solid water blocks. The way we're going to do that is we're going to use the very thing that we're farming. So if we use kelp, down here, and what I did was I started in the corner, and every time kelp grows, it makes a new source block. So if you come up here to this block here, and then head back down and break it, most of it will fall back down here. And you'll get all of it back, right? And you can do it again. So you're going to need about 30, I would say, about 30 pieces of the kelp there. So you can kind of see the water changing back there as I do this. That means that it's turning into source blocks. And you have to have your flowing water up there first. So remember, you make this as long as you want, but you still have to plant this kelp to get all your source blocks. You can see some of the kelp that's back here is already floating. That's because it's in non-running, non-falling water, right? So as this grows and it makes all the source blocks the whole way up, see how this block is right here even with this? That's all the higher you want to go. We already got some growing. So you do this all the way around the back and one of the sides, and just like an infinite water source, it'll fill itself in. On all 25 blocks. So then you go down this side and it'll all end up being source blocks. And you'll know that they're source blocks because things are floating and they don't dive off like that one just did. Here we go. Oh, they're starting to make it outside. It is a little tedious, but once you get it, then all of your kelp will be ready to grow. Nope, not that one, please. If we get a source block up here, then we've got to start the top over again. So be careful wherever you're clicking up there. Okay, that should be it. Everything should be source blocks. See them all float up? Just as soon as I turned everything into source blocks, they started to float. So this anywhere in here now is a source block. You know, other than right back here, because we have to have that room for it to for the flying machine to work. So no matter where I put these, they'll all float upwards. See? So that lets us know that all these are source blocks. Okay. So we'll run out here. Okay. We'll grab our hoppers and our chests. And they all fall in this nice, neat little line right here. We're not going to pick those ones up because we don't, you know, those came from just placed them. So you can put this one in. I've seen once there was one piece. See how it lands right there on the edge? It should be fine, but you can put this one in if you want. All right. Now we just got to get our clock back here. We can use all sorts of different things. I'm going to actually build, I think I'm going to build an etho hopper clock. That way we get a pulse through it. We can set our delays and our times the way we want it instead of mussing around and waiting on random ticks. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that sometimes it's nice to just be able to set your settings and let it do its job. So I'm going to come out here about 2 blocks away, and I'm going to build a monostable circuit. Which is a sticky piston that only lets the pulse through. Now if I power this, oh geez, dummy, I did this has got to be up 1 block. And then I'll need a repeater over here, so I gotta move this back. That's a cool trick, by the way. If you click both buttons at the same time, it'll replace the block that you just had there with what you put there. There it goes. See how this lets a short pulse through every time that this goes up? Alright. You can leave this button here in case you want to cycle it manually, or you wire it to wherever. To build the old Etho hopper clock, you'll need 2 hoppers, obviously, and they need to be facing into each other. Whoops, wasn't trying to bust that. And then we take a comparator output out of each one of these, right? Block there, and a block here. Dust, dust, sticky piston, sticky piston. Did I not grab? Oh, I did. There we go. A redstone block to lock the hopper, and then what we do is we fill in and as that drains across, it'll cycle back and forth. And this allows us to let it cycle for a lot longer. If we set this down, our flying machine will come back. There we go. But see how this signal stops right here because of this monostable circuit? This is powering this piston, but it lets just enough through that this repeater picks it up before the block moves, that it sends it on its way. Redstone dust is instantaneous. So once this runs out, we'll see it shift over and nothing will happen except this will go down. And then the next cycle, when all these cycle through, let's help it out a little bit. There we go. And then it'll cycle through again. This block will move across. There we go. It'll cycle everything. Now it's reset. It's set up to trigger. So once all of the items move into this hopper, from this hopper, it will send the flying machine across again. So let's help it out. It goes pretty quick. And once it cycles, we'll see the monostable circuit kick in. There it goes. The flying machine goes across. And now it's working. So now we can let it. Last thing to do, now that everything's tested, just make sure you fill up your floor. And again, you can put kelp on any block. It'll grow on anything. You don't have to put it on oak. You don't have to put it on coral. You don't have to put it on sand. You put it on any block you want to. And it'll grow. There you have it. A way to get some fuel coming up in 1.16. the wood in the nether is fireproof, so can't necessarily use this fuel, can we? So hopefully this will help out. You guys can use this. You put it anywhere in the world. Like I said, you can dig a hole and just put it in the ground and hook up your timer and your flying machine, and then collect it that way. Put a little smelter at the end of it with some charcoal in it or whatever, and you'll always have some kelp blocks coming through, or dried kelp. You'll have to craft them into kelp blocks. You know what I mean. But each one of the kelp blocks will smelt 20 items, so it's just like a block of coal. So hopefully you guys can use it. Hopefully it helps out, and go ahead and build her up somewhere. And as always, make sure you have some fun and play some games. See ya.